Howdy folks, this is Julia from justonemorecard.com for the LAV stamps today again. Today I want to show you how you can stamp with glitter, and we're going to be using the Oogles stamp set and this little fellow here that is just a solid stamp. And we're also going to use the Say It, Don't Spray It sentiment set, which is just awesome. Really, those sentiments rock. And I'm going to show you today how you can stamp with glitter. First of all, I laid out a few dies that I will need to cut a front panel, and then after I die cut this front panel, I'm using just a regular pencil to very lightly trace the openings here, because otherwise I don't know where to stamp. Because I will be stamping a little bit off to the openings, so I can't really use this front panel as a guide. I'm using flitter glue. This glue is actually supposed to work with gilding flakes, but somebody pointed out to me that it also works with glitter. So I'm putting this on this little foam thingy, and then using the same tool that I use with, what's the name? Embossing paste. That's the same tool. I'm using that to gently work the glue into this little foam pad here, so it will not sit on top, but so I will be able to apply it properly to my stamp. And you really want to clean this immediately, because otherwise it's going to be sticky forever. So here's my stamp, here's my squishy thingy, and now I'm gently, really gently, it looks like as if I'm pushing hard, but I'm really gently dabbing on the glue. I don't want a whole lot of glue on there. I just want a very light coating, because otherwise the stamp might also slip when I stamp it down. So I hope you can see that I've really just a very light coating of glue on the stamp. And now I don't think you can see actually the outlines that I have here, but they just serve me as a guide. And I'm stamping down, and since this is glue, I'm very carefully lifting up the stamp. Because, you know, if you're not careful, you might rip the paper. Ask me how I know. Anyhow, so immediately after I stamp this, I'm grabbing my glitter. I'm using the Microfine glitter by Elizabeth's Craft Designs because I like that one best. And I'm just dumping it onto the paper. You don't need to use an embossing bag like you would use with embossing powder. That's not necessary, because you will get the glitter everywhere anyway. So like usually when I look in the mirror in the evening after I have worked with glitter, I look like a Christmas tree. Seriously, I'm all sparkly and special and shiny, and yeah, you get the idea, I hope. So usually you would have to burnish the glitter, but I'm not doing this right away, because as long as the glue has not dried in this squishy thing, I want to stamp the other images. So I'm inking up the stamp again, pressing it down again. Sorry for cutting here, but my head gets in the way. Sorry, this video is kind of weird because my head is always in the way. Grabbing another color of the glitter, dumping it on there, and the same way pouring the excess back into the jar, carefully. And you can see I can just wipe off everything else here, that's not a problem. And then I'm doing the same with the third stamp. And I think I like the last color best. I'm not sure. Like, I'm a huge fan of purples and dark pinks. It's just, you should see my wardrobe. Oh, well, maybe you shouldn't, because, you know, you might get colorblind. Anyhow, so just pouring some back on here, and now use the tool that all of you have, which is your finger, to gently rub the glitter. And you will see in the moment when I tilt it here, you can see how shiny it is where I rubbed it, and how not shiny it is where I didn't rub it. So once you rub this, the glitter will stay put. It will not come off again. I swear to you, it will not come off. And use an anti-static cloth to wipe off all the excess that you wipe off. And you can see it here again. As soon as I start to rub it, it gets shiny. Like, pretty shiny. You know, like my eyes just turned into little hearts. I just love this effect. It's almost as magical as using embossing powder and heat embossing. Now, there's still glue on my stamp, and you really want to get the glue off. So I'm using the scrubber pad and the cleaning solution by Hero Arts, and then I'm just scrubbing it, as the name implies, drying it on the other side, and then when I tested it, it was still a little bit sticky, so I rubbed it again, cleaned it off again, and it was absolutely clean, no problem. Now I'm putting together sort of my front panel here using glue from my ATG gun, And I'm layering this onto a piece of purple cardstock, which will help get some contrast on this otherwise white card. You can see how it's supposed to look like here. And while I was looking at this, I was like, it's not good yet. It's kind of boring. Something's missing. What do I do? So I had a slight panic attack. And then I grabbed my sentiment set, because that also has some gorgeous little floral images down here. And I'm going to be using this super tiny drop shape right here, this one. You wouldn't think that would make much of an impact, but I hope you can see already in the other two windows where I stamped this. I stamped it 3 times, and it just looks as if the little monster is surprised or happy or maybe sweating, who knows. But it adds a tiny bit of extra, and I'm always surprised how like little stamps that we might not even consider important or might even overlook most of the time, what big of a difference they can make. And here again is the magic rubbing the glitter, and it's shiny, it's flat, it stays put. It's just awesome. Now on the back of my panel here, I'm using maybe an excessive amount of foam tape. I don't know. I think it's just enough. I don't want it to sag because that would just look awkward. But I also cut down like the regular width tape in the middle. And then before I adhered it, I remembered that I still needed to stamp my sentiment, which I did with VersaFine ink. I usually forget, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, I have to stamp my sentiment, but everything's already in place. What if I mess up? I didn't mess up this time. And at the very end, I'm grabbing my corner chomper, setting it to the 1/4 inch setting, and chomping off the corners. Because I felt since I already had those scalloped, the scallop border, it would be nice to have rounded edges to my card. And here's a close-up of the glitter that we, kind of stamped. It makes this little monster look so cute. And then we have this absolutely fantastic sentiment also by the Alleyway Stamps, of course. And here's the finished card. I hope you enjoyed this card. It's different, stamping with glitter. I would especially recommend it with solid stamps, but it also works very nice, for example, with a sentiment stamp. So if you like this card, leave me a comment, a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!